Folks, welcome back to another episode of The Fallen Badge. Today, the murder of Trooper Russell Boyd, Texas Highway Patrol. Trooper Boyd was 25 years old. He had 1 year with the Texas Highway Patrol, and he had a wife. It's October 11th, 1983. Most of the information I'm using for this case came from the Texas Court of Appeals. Now, according to the Texas Court of Appeals, the evidence showed that on this particular date, the suspect from 5:30 to 8 o'clock killed a total of 6 individuals in College Station and Hempstead before he was finally captured in Wharton, Texas. Now, in addition to the 6 murders, 6 other people were kidnapped and 1 robbed in order to facilitate the suspect's escape. So it started that evening. The suspect, he shot and killed his brother and his sister-in-law. And that was in College Station. Now, the bullets they removed from his brother would later be shown to match the bullets that were used to kill Trooper Boyd. So after he's killed these 2 people, he starts heading south. And he's in a burgundy-colored car. Now, according to a couple of witnesses, the Norrises, they were traveling southbound on Highway 6, about 10 miles north of Hempstead. They noticed a DPS vehicle parked on the shoulder of the southbound lane, immediately behind a maroon Ford. Now, DPS, that's Department of Public Safety, that's the Highway Patrol. Now, they slowed down a little bit. They noticed that the emergency lights were on. Now, as they got up close to the vehicles passing by, they noticed a body with a uniform on lying in the grass between and to the right of the vehicles. As they got closer and they slowed down, a man all of a sudden popped up from behind the trooper vehicle. And the man waved at the Norrises. Well, the Norrises, they decided not to stop. They took off. Well, this fella, he reached inside the trooper vehicle and removed the shotgun, and he gave chase. This is kind of a la Fargo. So now he chased them all the way into the town of Hempstead before he finally stopped chasing them. And the vehicle, it disappeared to parts unknown. Now, this couple, they went to the Sheriff's Department and reported what happened. They go out there and they find the body of Trooper Boyd. Now, there's a fella and his 3 kids, and they pull up to a restaurant there in Hempstead. They're in a green 74 Ford. And our suspect, he pulls up, gets out, puts a gun on the fella, tells him and the kids get out of the car. So he takes his pistol and his shotgun, puts them in the car, he's carjacking, and he drives off. So now this fella, he calls the police. Police get there, look at the car, and on the front seat they find a bank transaction paper, and it's got the name of this fella. Well, that fella ends up being the suspect. Now, under the driver's seat, the officers found 2 pistols, a .25 caliber automatic and a .22 caliber revolver, and several spent shells were found on the floorboard. Now, they also found the ignition key to Trooper Boyd's vehicle on the front seat. Now, shortly after this suspect has carjacked that fella, he pulls into a driveway of a house, goes up to the front door and knocks. Now, there's 3 elderly people living there in the house. Before it was all said and done, he shot all 3 of them. 2 of them were DOA on the scene. The third one, she lived for a week or 2. She was able to tell the police that they saw this older model green Ford pull into the driveway. And then a young Hispanic male came up to the door and asked if he could leave his car in the driveway because it was running hot. And then she said for whatever reason, he just pulled out a pistol and shot us all. Now, there were witnesses who said they saw a green Ford exiting the driveway of this residence after they heard the shots. Now, at another house there in Hempstead, that same green Ford pulls up to a house. Suspect, he goes to the door, pulls a gun on the homeowner and his wife. He says, "You're taking me to Houston." Well, now the wife, she says, "Well, no, if you're taking my husband, I'm going too." So they all three load up in the car, and they're in their couple's Oldsmobile, heading to Houston. Now, during the trip, the suspect, he tells them that, "I got this shotgun and pistol off of a Texas trooper." Now, as they're driving along, he takes the shotgun and throws it out the window. Now, near the intersection of Highway 610 and 225 there in Pasadena, Texas, the suspect tells him to pull over, and he gets out and he leaves. Now, the couple, they drive back north towards Hempstead, stop at a truck stop, and they call the police. Now, the couple's able to direct the officers to the location where the suspect threw the shotgun out. Now, they recover the shotgun, and sure enough, it's Trooper Boyd's shotgun. They also recovered fingerprints of the suspect on the shotgun. Now, after the suspect got dropped off, he ran into a fella and he asked him, "Could you drive me to the airport?" And the fella says, "Sure." Well, on the way to the airport, suspect, he pulls out his pistol, tells this fella to drive him south on Highway 59 to Victoria. Now, the suspect, he tells this fella, he says, "I killed a trooper, and I got the trooper's pistol." Well, things don't turn out like the suspect had hoped. Theory was he was heading to Mexico. Well, about 11 o'clock that night, officers had a roadblock set up on southbound lanes of U.S. Highway 59 just outside of Wharton, Texas. And they find the suspect in the passenger seat of that blue Ford Bronco. So they get him out and handcuff him. Now, inside the Bronco, the officers find a Smith & Wesson .357 Magnum blue steel revolver. And now that was Trooper Boyd's pistol. They also find a Smith & Wesson .357 Magnum in a stainless. And they were able to determine that that was the pistol used to kill the trooper. Two of the bullets recovered from Trooper Boyd's bulletproof vest were determined to have been fired from that stainless revolver. Now, some of those spent cartridges they had found in that maroon Ford they had recovered after the carjacking, they matched the cartridges in the stainless steel revolver as well. So they got him tied into that vehicle as well. Now, according to the ME, Trooper Boyd suffered 5 gunshot wounds. He died as a result of a bullet wound which went through his arm and entered his chest. Additionally, he had one shot fired from a range of 6 to 24 inches into Trooper Boyd's head, went underneath his ear and through his neck as he was lying on the ground. Now, within about 4 years, the suspect did not appeal his conviction and sentence to death, so he was executed, lethal injection, 1987. Trooper Russell Lynn Boyd. End of watch, October 11th, 1983.